Hey guys, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel. So I have mentioned before in other videos that I have been writing a book for a couple of years, and I have found a couple of things that I run into. One of them is if I haven't been writing for a really long time or it's been a couple of days, it's like I lose my writing flow. And it's because I'm used to writing every single day, all the time, but sometimes work gets in the way and other life things, so I have to stop. And when I do stop for a long length of time, I can't get into the flow. I know where I want to, what I want to write about. I know what the scene is supposed to be. I know what it's supposed to look like in my head. I know who's going to be in it. I know what's going to happen. But it's just a matter of getting that first word on the paper and getting started. That is what makes it really, really hard. It's not writer's block necessarily. It's just getting back into my writer's flow. And I thought to myself, I can't be the only person that has ever experienced this. And it's really infuriating when it happens, especially when you just want to write. That's all you want to do, but you just don't know where to start with what you want to write. So I have found 5 things that have helped me personally get back into my writer's flow, and I thought that I would share them with you and maybe help or advise or irritate other people who write that might have this issue. So that is what this video is going to be about today, so let's get started. Also, if you haven't noticed, I'm not very good at intros, just an FYI. Okay, number 1 is setting, and basically what I mean by that is a location where you are going to sit down and devote a lot of your time writing. And I think the environment of where you write is very crucial to the way it goes and to your writing flow, because if you are in a place where you're not comfortable, where it's cold or too hot, the lighting is terrible, there's a lot of distractions, it's going to be really hard for you to get into that creative flow. And it's not just for writing that this happens, it's for any level of creating. If I want to sing a song and I'm about to cover a song, it's really hard for me to do that if I'm hot and uncomfortable. If I'm writing a song, same thing. If I'm drawing, which I usually don't, but if I am, it's the same thing. I have to be in a place where I feel like I can sit comfortably, I can kick back, where there's little to no distractions, and I can just be creative. Where I like to write is in my backyard on my patio. There are Christmas lights lining the awning, I think that's what it's called, so it looks very, very magical and very mythical and very beautiful out there. And I sit on my little porch swing and I just start to write, and it's amazing how it helps so much. Just my surroundings alone helps me get back into the flow of my writing. And it's really incredible that something that a lot of people think is so trivial and so simple is actually a very, very important thing to think about. And just make sure that this is a place where you're comfortable, where you can sit back with a cup of tea or a glass of lemonade or your shots of vodka, whatever you do while you're creating, and just be. Because nobody wants to feel uncomfortable and be judged and distracted while they're trying to create. At least I don't. Okay, number 2 is music. More specifically, create a playlist of songs that you listen to while you are writing. I have a playlist that is the title of my book that I listen to on my phone while I'm writing, and these are songs that ignite inspiration, that make me think of my story. When I see a scene in my head and these characters, this is the song that I would see in the background of that scene. Songs that really ignite your thinking and really get you started, and that can be any kind of genre, whatever makes you comfortable. For me, it's more of a ballady kind of music that has a lot of high emotion, or instrumentals, because sometimes songs that have words in it can be distracting. And actually, I will put 5 of my favorite songs that I like to listen to while I'm writing down in the description below, so you can check them out, because I think they are really great for inspiration. Also, listen to music that makes sense with the scene that you're writing. So if you're writing a love scene and it's really touchy-feely, listen to an emotional love song. If you're writing a fighting scene, listen to something really rock related or something that reminds you of a fighting scene. If it's something sad, listen to something sad. And it really just makes the writing richer. It really makes it help. And if you have a hard time getting into this flow, like I've said, just sit there and listen to this playlist that reminds you of your book that you listen to when you're writing, and you'll be surprised how it gets your flow going. Because when I listen to this music before I write, it reminds me of my book so much and my characters so much that it really gets my imagination going. Number 3 is free writing. And free writing is basically when you just take a pencil and a piece of paper or start typing randomly, uncontrollably, not thinking. It's a thing where you can't think while you're writing, you just have to write. And it really helps you get into the flow of writing because it gets your brain going, it gets your hand used to the pencil, which is a thing. It really is a thing. And also, you'll be surprised what could come out of your subconscious that you didn't know was there. There have been a lot of times where I've gotten ideas for my book from free writing that I didn't even know were in my head until I just started writing uncontrollably, unthinking. So it can really be really incredible seeing what your brain is thinking. It can also be kind of dark, because there have been times where I've been free writing and I've gotten pretty deep and in a dark place in my head that I didn't even know was there. And it can also be really therapeutic, because sometimes when you have writer's block or can't get back in the flow of writing or creating, it's because something is going on with you emotionally and mentally, and those things can get in the way of your creative process. And a really great way of doing that and dealing with that is by journaling or free writing, because it just gets it all out, maybe not directly, but enough to where it knocks down that block and makes it so you can get your flow back again. And number 4 is listening to Audible. And I don't mean this like they're sponsoring me, because ain't nobody sponsoring me right now. But also I don't mean plagiarize, because that's not nice. Don't do that. I mean by listening to somebody read like a book by someone that you're a big fan of it's very inspiring to me. This helps me get back in the flow, because I think about how this person I'm listening to their book, and it's fun to think that this person that wrote this book was in basically the same situation I am, where they're writing and they hit writer's block, or they run out of their flow, or they get so many ideas that it can be overwhelming, and they've got like 20 different books full of different drafts of the book and endings and characters and thousands of names. And it's fun to think about them who are so famous, like J.K. Rowling or Cassandra Clare or Stephanie Meyer, how their books are so incredibly famous now. And it's so fun to think that they were just people who one day decided, I'm going to write this book, and went through the stresses and the emotions of that. And it's incredible to think that, and it's really inspiring to think if they can do it, I can do it too. And what does listening to Audible have to do with that? Well, part of it is me being biased, because I like being listened to. I like being read to. It's one of the things that helps with my anxiety, which, as I said, when you have anxiety and stuff like that, it can mess up your writing flow. There is another reason also why I like to listen to Audible before I write, and that's because I like to, if you're going to either read or listen to a book that fits in or that is the same genre as what you are writing. So if you're writing fantasy, listen to fantasy. If you're reading nonfiction, listen to nonfiction. Criminal, listen to criminal. Stuff like that. Because it really helps listening to the way that these authors describe things, the way they visualize things, the way they talk about scent and touch and emotion, and the way they have their characters talk, because it really helps you figure out how you can describe things, how you can say the way your character said something. And it's really actually quite helpful to listen to the way they wrote. And I'm not saying copy the way they wrote, but it really helps you figure out your own writing style, hearing other people's writing styles. And that is a lot of the reason why I'm suggesting listening to somebody read it rather than read it. But then again, as I said, I'm biased. Even though, what I like to do though, and it's very weird, a lot of people think this is weird, but I like to listen to Audible and read the book at the same time. Like, it's like I'm in class and this person's reading to me. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But number 4 is listen to Audible, because you will be surprised how helpful it is. But also, and a lot of people don't know this, that I know of, is you can actually find people reading books on YouTube. You just have to type in audiobook of whatever book you want to read to, and I guarantee you will find that book being read like it is on Audible. The only thing is the voices are robotic and kind of uncomfortable, and if you can't pause it and go back to it if you decide to change the video. On Audible, you can bookmark it, or you can just pause it, and that's really, really cool. I wish I could be sponsored by Audible. I love Audible. Audible is one of my favorite things. Like how people do that monthly favorites thing, Audible would be every single month. At first, I didn't think I'd like it. I think that it was stupid, and then I started listening to it, and ever since then, I have been addicted. And at number 5, and I think this is the most, important one, is to ignore that voice in your head that tells you you can't do it, that tells you to stop, that nobody's gonna like your book, that there's no point in doing this, that this has been done. Because as humans, we are our worst critics. Somebody else can tell you that your book is awful, and yes, that will hurt you, but there's no other person in the entire world that can make you stop other than you. And closing out that voice is really hard, and can really make it so you can't get back in your flow, can really ignite that writer's block, and can really make it difficult to even want to write. So basically, don't listen to yourself. Which, I mean, of course sounds weird because you kind of have to listen to your thoughts in order to write them down. But I mean, don't listen, have selective hearing. Because I promise you, when you learn to ignore that negative voice in your head that's telling you you can't do it, you can write for hours every single day without a problem. I know it's easier said than done, and I still have issues with, like, I'll read back my story and think, well, I like it, I'm proud of it, but somebody else is going to read it and be like, wow, Kat, this shit is awful, you should really rethink your dreams in life. But I also think to myself, I love writing. This is my passion. I have wanted to write a book for a long time, and I'm going to finish this book. I'm going to get it edited and hopefully published one day. This is a dream of mine, and that voice outweighs the negative one. And so just remember that you also have a positive voice along with that negative voice. And that positive voice is louder than your negative voice. And that can go with anything in life, really, not just your creative process, but with anything. Because if you're not hurting yourself or someone else or an animal, then you go and you do you, and you live your passion, you live your dream, you do what you love. And if people love you, then they will follow you, and if they don't, then you don't need them. And that's basically how it is with really anything, especially if you're creative, because there are going to be people out there who will not like what you do. It just will not rub them the right way, and that's fine. That's great. Just don't stop doing what you want to do and love just because other people can be really crappy. Just do what you want to do because it makes you happy and it's what you love. And that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm writing this book because I want to and I love it, and I'm super excited to see what happens with it in the future. There you go. This is a very long video of 5 ways to get back into your writing flow and to combat writer's block, I guess. I still need to figure out the title of this video because I didn't really think that through. All I thought was, I'm gonna do a video about 5 ways to deal with writing stuff, and that doesn't sound like a very appealing video, so yeah. I have a habit of doing videos last minute. I don't really think about it, and I don't really write scripts, because I've watched videos and they write scripts and they think about everything, and I just don't do that. I probably should, but I don't. So yeah, so those are 5 things that will help you get back into your writing flow, or overcome writer's block, whichever one you want to call it. And hopefully it helps a little bit, and if not, hopefully you thinking I'm stupid and laughing at me will help you too, or brighten your day and you can make fun of me. Whatever, floats your boat and tickles your fancy, whatever makes you happy, that's great. If you liked this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and if you would like me to talk about other writing things, go ahead and also hit that like button, and you should hit that subscribe button if you would like to see more videos like this in the future and don't want to miss out on it. And I hope that you have a wonderful day and a beautiful night. And this is Kat signing off. Bye.